Yeah, so I'm kind of nailing it to getting the ratio correct because I wanted the subjects um, closer to the pub. Have the full picture of the pub, but have the correct ratio of us stood on the opposite side of the road, not at middle of the road or close. Um, yeah, but I tried one. Oh my god, I tried one with a picture of me and Gusher together, taken somewhere, and one say well, as I said in the previous video, the one where I think we were at the Gala Bingo near the like it's kind of close to the Elstree and Borehamwood train station. There's that is it the Point or something? There's the Virgin Gym, the Real Cinema, and Gala Bingo, and that down that little alleyway just off Shenley Road. Um, I think the one time we went there, we actually both won money. I would have won more, like, but unfortunately there were two winners. So my share was halved. No shit, Sherlock. But I think that was the day when they had this young novice at the reception, this African bloke, and he couldn't quite get you registered quick enough, and he had to get the woman to come and help it. But by the time he'd finished, the proceedings had already started. So, because we bought a full book and got a dabber, or dobber, and obviously there was grub on as well at the half time. I think it was curry and chips or something, or curry and rice. Like a bog standard generic curry. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it was nice. You know, it filled us bellies. We had grub and a drink whilst at the bingo, and then obviously then we would have gone to the sadly missed Hollybush pub in Elstree Village. Right, I've got a gap for four. This this to me is yeah. I've now started to put some stuff, like some new videos, like this will probably go into the Bournemouth and Elstree, or Bournemouth and London Memory Group, which, as you know, Mr. Home, is an amalgamation of two separate groups that I set up during the COVID airport era. When I knew there was a 90% chance that imminently at the time that I was going to be one of those that was going to be furloughed, and that was the case. And then I was flexi furloughed, and then I was there for a few shifts. That 12 to 12, which was a fucking nightmare because your whole day was destroyed. Um, and yeah, I just the idea was, as you know, to transfer all of our images, which were probably in the thousands, including ones that you sent me, via Dropbox, as I said in the previous video. Unfortunately, as you know, some of your videos, especially from your first trip, were due to a dodgy SIM card or something. Not a SIM card, SD card, were lost. I still hope, although the chance is probably 5%, that somehow the missing images, which to me are almost like the Holy Grail, will be recovered. I don't think it ever will be, because you sent me everything you had, so you said, via Dropbox. There were a lot of duplicates, of course, duplicate files, but it was a joy to work through them. Yeah, a lot of stuff which it was from your point of view, because I remember taking pictures of you, taking pictures of, like, there's that one picture you took. It's probably one of these pictures that were missing. If you remember, the picture I took of you. There's like, it was near the Houses of Parliament. Of course, so we're coming from where there's that chapel building to our left, where there were the news reports, and then to our left would be the Parliament Square. So I come from that angle. So we were on the opposite side of the House of Parliament, and there were those red and white plastic barricade which formed like a footpath. But it was we were other. So this is our Parliament. Our Parliament here. We were on this side, and obviously this side you got Parliament Square, and a bit further back you got was like a chapel or something. And you were stood side on with your camera like that, taking a picture obviously of the House of Parliament, and I was taking a picture of you from a distance. We had that cream jacket on. That might have been the first one. That's one of the missing batches, because I had loads of mine. I've still got a lot in the personal archives, which are on my Facebook page, because you sent me all your pictures, like I said, via Dropbox. And yeah, I mean, there were good times. Now it's festooned with these stop oil protesters and fucking free Gaza, free Palestine. If that bothered about it, they would fuck off over to Palestine. Yeah, it's a pity, that pub. But I think there's a picture of you looking. Obviously, this is opposite way around, but that's, yeah. You look into your right, probably one of the mounted TVs in the pub, which is now opposite the Whitechapel bus station, and just past that there was that passageway, so which is obviously is parallel to the bus station, Whitechapel, which led to a pub. Which every time I was in the Whitechapel Aldgate area, I tried to go down and have a pint, and it was the Still. I remember the name to this day, the Still and Star. It must be not long since closed, but it still had the hanging baskets outside, the pub signs. It was like a long, narrow pub, and like I said, it was opposite the Aldgate Exchange and almost next door neighbours to the Whitechapel bus station. Is it Whitechapel Road or Commercial Road? Obviously, we went up that way then, and then turned left towards where the 10 Bells is. Nice pub, the 10 Bells. And there was that indoor market, just well known, or is it now? Should know it. Because they now own like Jack the Ripper thing. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to do some more of these videos actually, but I am going to start I am going to start probably one picture at a time so I can get and then do the location. It's going to be a bit of a ball ache, but the Bournemouth and London Memory Project, which I said is the amalgamation of two groups, two separate groups, we did about 3 or 4 years ago. One for Elstree and Bournemouth and one for London. But I quickly got bored with it, abandoned them, and then I come to the idea of no, I want to have these groups to keep on creating memories, so I can pick a picture at any time, and then go, do you remember this picture? What do you remember? And then it can spark up a conversation, keeping our times down there, kind of alive. I do miss the Holly Bush. I do miss Elstree Village. I do miss that walk from the Elstree Inn, obviously out onto White House Avenue, past Bournemouth Tyres, turn left up Shenley Road, go past the train station, over the bridge onto Allam Lane, take that footpath rather than the first time, which was a long way, all the way along Allam Lane, turn left at the T-junction, then up Elstree Hill North. But obviously, when I saw on satellite images there was that footpath, which we cut through the cemetery, and there's that on the right. There's that place, that hot equestrian place. Because sometimes we were walking back, we would motion the horse. Some of the horses came over, because I was right in the field at night, and they were lovely. And then we carried on. There was like a little field to the left which had children's playground items in, and then eventually you come out onto Elstree Hill North near the war cenotaph, then turn left up to the where Elstree Hill North meets Elstree Hill South, so where it levels out, and there across the road was the Hollybush pub, which I said it never really recovered from when Paul Hussein left the Hollybush to go to the Shooting Star, Rossington Avenue, Bournemouth. Then he left that. I know he had something to do with a pub or a bar called the Woods Bar. I'm not sure, he might be deputy manager or something, and the people who run it wanted to grant him the license. But and the Elstree and Bournemouth Times archives clearly show there were minutes from a licensing meeting, but the Hertsmere police apparently had files of apparently proving that Paul Hussein wasn't a fit person to hold a licence, so it was refused. Then I think he went on to run the bar restaurant at the Premier Inn. Because when I was down there with Gusher in 2013, he said, "Oh, if you'd have told me, I could have got your friends and relatives rates." Because the idea then was to go to the Elstree Inn, but I fucked up on booking, and this arsehole reception, there was a room which we could have had, but it was this one person turned up, it was a double room, and promised to come back, and he wouldn't get in touch with manager and give that bloke the single room. So it was like a geek. So we waited there for an hour, but there was no sign. This bloke, he said, the bloke who had turned up left no contact details, no phone number, nothing. Couldn't get in touch with him. So he was there waiting, and I said, look, simply, it'd be more simple, give us that room. But the bloke, who was like a bit of a geek, he was an arsehole. He refused to get in touch with management to get it all clear, because as long as that bloke had a bed, I still didn't know to this day if that bloke turned up. So I quickly booked as a second night at the Premier Inn, was, on Studio Way. I think actually the access to it was on Manor Way, I think. Now there's a nice little cafe on Manor Way. Bournemouth's got everything. It's got a cafe, Indian places, fish chip shops. So if you divide Bournemouth into 4 quarters, they've each got their own Indian takeaway, Indian restaurant, fish and chip shop, and a cafe. So it's and Shenley Road, from what I've seen on Street View now, and it's especially with the new weather. No, it's not new now, like, but was it a few years back, not long ago, there was a new chip shop on Shenley Road. I don't ever recall a chip shop being on Shenley Road when I was down there. There were plenty of restaurants, like Domino's Pizza. There was that Indian takeaway next near Ladbrokes, and now probably closed Barclays Bank. There was that. I think there was a Greek restaurant up near the train station. There was a Thai restaurant on the Ladbroke side of Shenley Road. There was like a Dixie Chicks place on Elstree, near to Elstree Inn, and then it's changed name, but a bit further up to what was the Crown, although maybe a few shops down. There was what we knew as Prin's Pizza. I think that's changed its name now. But I always remember coming back from our London day out, especially when we come back from the Hollybush. And Shenley Road was like a bloody ghost town. You expect people coming out, getting late night pizzas and kebabs and that, but just desolate. Like, you could imagine tumbleweed flying past. I still remember that couple arguing outside Prin's Pizza when we were waiting for our pizzas to be done. But I'll save that for another video.